Hi folks, welcome to the Prepared Homestead. This is Travis. Thank you all for stopping by to watch. Gonna get into conspiracy theories today. That's right. Maybe it's just for fun. Maybe we'll learn a little something out of it. Who knows? But there's a few, well, there's a lot, but we're only gonna focus on three that are going around right now that everyone's talking about. Some of it's conspiracy, some of it's just stuff, right? And we'll get into that here in just a minute. I wanted to say that yesterday, my video yesterday, I talked about me not feeling too good, and I think a lot of people misconstrued that as me saying that I had COVID, and I don't. I haven't taken a test for it, and I have never, ever taken a test, and I will never, ever take a test for COVID. But I know that I don't have any symptoms whatsoever. I probably should have explained myself. I have not slept for a few days, had not, and I've been working just in well over overtime, not really taking good care of myself, and had some intestinal GI dysfunction, I guess you could say, to try to put it nicely. And so a combination between work stress, that, and not sleeping, I've just kind of pushed myself probably a little further than I should have. But I did get a full night's sleep last night, and it's amazing how getting sleep actually helps you. So I feel a lot better today. I'm not saying that everything's all nice and done, but wanted to make it clear I don't have COVID. But it is going around, they say, the coffee cough. But anyways, thank you all for your prayers. And I've always been a workaholic, and I kind of get focused on what I'm doing, and I tend to forget to eat and sleep and rest and things like that when I get very focused on the things that I'm doing. And boy, there's a whole lot of stuff to be doing nowadays. Anyways, let's get into this, because you might say, well, what does this have to do with preparedness? I don't know. We'll try to pull some knowledge out of it, some wisdom, but I thought we should get into it, like I said, somewhat maybe for fun, but also some of these conspiracies go around and get people kind of worked up about it, and we want to get into and see if there's anything to even worry about. So the first one that seemed to have popped up online in the last 24 hours or so, and some of you may have seen it, and some of you may not, is the Liberty Safe one. So apparently a week or two ago, the FBI raided this guy's house. He was one of those January 6ers. Yep. They had a warrant, went in and arrested him, handcuffed his wife, who had actually just had a miscarriage, and they raided his house, looking for things, evidence that he was part of the January 6th, terrible people. Not that he was part of the people that burned and looted American cities for 6 months. Not them, not the group of people that murdered and assaulted and vandalized Americans and American businesses for months and months, causing billions of dollars in damage. Not that group, but the group that went into the Capitol building. They were investigating for that. So anyways, this guy had a big Liberty Safe, and apparently the FBI just called Liberty Safe Company, and Liberty Safe Company's like, yeah, you got a warrant? Okay, well, here's the backdoor access. Here, punch this code in, you can have access to it. And a lot of people are upset, saying that, they call themselves Liberty, and they sell gun safes, and yet they're giving access, and according to Liberty Safes, they have issued a statement that, yeah, they do this. That if law enforcement provides them a valid warrant, they will give them the backdoor access code that allows them in any safe. And so a lot of people are concerned with, well, how safe are your guns in this safe? And let me tell you, folks, it's like what I tell people online. I am no internet tech expert. I'm not a digital security expert, but people ask me all the time, is this website safe to be on? Is this one, can we communicate? What's the best texting app? What's the best messaging app? What's the best secure social media? Even the ones that I run, are they really that secure? No, none of them are. There's zero. None are secure and outside the purview of FBI, NSA, people like that. If they want to have access, if they want to get into it, they either have backdoor access, the companies that run them or run the servers will give it to them, or they have technicians that are easily capable of hacking into it. If you wanted something that's completely impenetrable, the average user, and that's the key word, the average user does not have access to that. Now, if you are some really good computer digital security hacker running your own servers and that may be different, have encryption codes and things like that. That may be different. Even that, it's iffy. But for the average user, it doesn't exist. There's nothing that exists online that's that secure. And I think it's really the same way with a lot of these. And let me preface this. I am not a safe expert. Not in any form, fashion, shape, or size. I'm not. So if you get on here and you say, you're wrong about this, you're probably correct. I have never, ever felt safe with these digital safes. My opinion is the digital ones, if it's digital, it's hackable. And so I've never really liked or wanted to do anything with these digital safes. And for that matter, they're not even safes. They're fireproof boxes. They keep your stuff protected from a fire for so many minutes, and that's really about it. Most of these safes, if you take a 8-10 pound sledgehammer and a chisel and a pry bar, you can get in it within so many minutes. So I wouldn't really even call them safes, but that's interesting for you to know that your digital controlled safes, they may keep the dumb old bad guys out, but they're not going to keep the police out because they'll just walk right through it. The second one I wanted to talk about, this is more of the fun one in a way, sad but fun. It's this guy coming out talking about his gay, sexual, and drug-induced relationship with former President Barack Obama. Now, a lot of people are saying, well, why is this guy just now coming out and all? He didn't just come out. This guy came out talking about this back when Barack Obama was running for election. There's actually been a book written about this, and the information that the author that wrote the book got was that there was a information lockdown done at the time of the Obama campaign, and they were told that the Obama campaign told all the media that if you wanted any access to the Obama campaign, you absolutely will not report on this one item. And so they did not. So it just went dead. So this is not new. And I know that this guy that's coming out saying that he had this, sexual relationship and did drugs with Obama, is worse than sketchy. I mean, he does not have a good background. So he's not necessarily the most solid witness. But I think most of us would say, yeah, this kind of confirms our preconceived beliefs of him and his husband, Mike. But, here's the thing. There's a couple of takes on this that may go in a different way than what you're expecting. Number one, interesting enough that since this has come out, there's a big block or whatever side of the Republican Party and conservatives that are saying they don't care. This isn't a big deal. If he's gay, and that's fine. And, they'll eventually, I'm sure, certainly say that, well, if Michelle is Mike, then that's fine too. And maybe that's part of the psyop here, is that they're conditioning enough even of the right-wing conservatives that they're accepting this too. This is okay. This is just one more thing. There's, if you go to these big conservative or especially Republican Party events, big ones, not small little county ones, there's a lot of gay, a lot of transgender people there. There's the gay Republicans is a big block, and I'm not really even attacking them at all. I'm just saying that it shows that we're getting to this point that even something like that amongst a decent amount of conservatives, not all, but a decent amount, it doesn't even matter. Does it change things? No, but there is another conspiracy connected with this that's not getting a lot of airplay. It's one of those ones that's the whisper in the back of the room, is that it's possible that all this is happening, and maybe even this big transgender push, is so that when Michelle goes to run for president and it becomes apparent that Michelle is a Mike, that it won't be that big a deal, that the shock will be over. You know, they've taken the wind out of the sails of saying, oh, we can't elect Michelle because Michelle is Mike. I don't know. It's a conspiracy, and sometimes they're fun, and we're running out of conspiracies because they're all coming true. So sometimes it's okay to just pick on random ones. The third one, and this is more of the serious one that I want to address, and I'll admit that most of what I'm going to say is opinion. There's very little fact. Well, there's very little facts involved in any of this. My turkey is having fun swimming around in the creek. Didn't know they did that. Anyways, so there's this, I'm not going to name names because I am not being critical of these people. So I'm not naming names because I don't want people to think that I'm trashing them. But there's a fairly prominent conservative video podcaster guy. He has a military background. I have respect for him as much as I don't know him or anything, but he seems to be a good person and all that. So I'm not knocking him at all. But he had this, I think it was an attorney on his show over the last few days, and this attorney said, I'm gonna have to be careful because I don't want to get YouTube. If you watch this, I am not spreading misinformation. I'm reporting on what someone said. Okay, so let me just get that out there. I actually was on the phone with YouTube yesterday because of their shenanigans. Anyways, so this guy says that inside the Pokey Poke is some kind of dormant Marburg virus, and that in October of this year, that all the 5G towers are going to send out pulses at a certain frequency and will activate what's in the Pokey Poke, and that everyone will have zombie-like Marburg. I mean, that's out there. I mean, that's really out there. The guy is stating it as fact. He presented a somewhat believable case. I don't know where in the world he would get this information and how we would know it's true. And I have watched over the last 2 or 3 days, especially on places like Twitter and stuff, amongst the conservatives, it started off as like, this is craziness, and then more and more kind of buying into it. And they've put some pieces together that, well, maybe this is evidence of it. I'm going to get this out there. I don't have any clue about this. It seems a little too far-fetched for me, but as we've all learned over the last few years, that nothing's really off the table with these people. And so is it even possible to do this? Probably. Is it possible that they would be devious enough to do this? Yeah, I think so. So it's not that I wouldn't say it's out of the realm of possibility. I don't know about how to activate dormant particles with I know a lot of people think you can, some people think you can't. I don't have enough knowledge of that technology to even know. It seems likely that they could. It seems plausible with the level of technology that we have. But is this what's actually happening, or is this just another Q kind of conspiracy it's a little on the fringy craziness? I don't know. I suspect it's probably not true. I suspect it may be more of just a diversion or something like that. I think we have to be careful of these things. It doesn't mean that we completely discount them, because when we start ignoring all of these types of theories, then that makes us vulnerable in another way, that the people that are running the show are like, oh, they're ignoring all these theories. We'll let one of them be true, and then, now we got a bunch. So we have to be prepared for things. How do you be prepared for this? Well, I mean, you either have the pokey or you don't have the pokey. And if you don't, apparently you're going to be fine with this particular one. The guy claims that it's some kind of weaponized version of it, and it's going to make everyone be like zombies. And that's why the CDC for several years ago were doing all this zombie warning on their websites and all that kind of stuff. Now, I know we're getting off into la la land here, and some of you are probably already mentally tuning out, but I think it's definitely worthy of us to at least acknowledge these things and man, be able to to have a pretty decent argument and not get caught up in them. This one could be true. I mean, I'm on the fence on this. I mean, I'm not on the fence. I don't believe that this is true, but I'm at the point now that I'm willing to accept anything if it actually happens, or if there's enough evidence presented for it. I don't think that this one is, but I could be wrong. I am wrong once in a while, you know, aren't we all? But we have to be prepared for this kind of stuff. There's a lot of crazy little conspiracies that go around that end up just not being true, and then we get caught up in them. It makes us look a little on the lunatic side. People already think that we are, but it also affects us. You know, if we get caught up in this conspiracy, and then, you know, October passes, and that's another thing. The emergency services is doing their national alert on October 4th, and that's when they think it's going to happen, which, you know, I mean, it's all within the realm of possibility, I guess. But what happens is you know, the time passes and nothing happens, and then you know, people that's bought into it are deflated, and now they start doubting that any of this stuff even is real. And I think that's where the real psyop lies in, is getting people hyped up over a particular event that's going to happen, that's either going to save us all or it's going to destroy us all. And then it doesn't happen, and then they're like, well, if it's not real, then is any of this real? And then the next thing comes along, and we're just like, you know, the last couple of theories was not true, so I'm not going to pay attention to this one, and then that one may actually be the real event. So always try to go into every one of these things with some discernment. Try to do the research. Even I occasionally post information that's not correct. I do my best to research it and to kind of backtrack it to see if it is, but I'm one person, and so it's difficult at times. But we should definitely be open and aware. Don't just immediately jump on something, even if it's a big name out there. I mean, they make mistakes too. And sometimes these big names can be purposely deceiving or misled themselves. So don't just immediately jump on those bandwagons. Use some common sense, some logic, some discernment. Pray about it if you need to, and you know, try to come up with something before you immediately jump on it. Always be on guard. Always be on the ready, because this stuff is coming at us, and things like this Marburg is within the realm of possibility, I would guess. So, you know, we know that that's just how bad the world is, that this kind of stuff is even possible. So that's why we need to keep getting ready and keep staying alert and on guard, because the attacks are just going to keep coming at us, one right after another. Folks, you really need to be getting your houses in order and preparing yourselves mentally, physically, and spiritually. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in the next video.